It's come down to this. 5 drivers and 1 championship to be decided right here this afternoon. Ferrier, Kelly, Parsons, Wills, Dumbrell. Hello, I'm Grant Denyer and welcome to Trackside and one of our most important shows. We're here in South Australia's Mallala Raceway to crown the 2001 Konica V8 Supercar champion. It's been one hell of a year and now get set as the stars of the Konica V8 Supercars throw everything at today's 3 races to make a name in V8 Supercars. That driver will replace the reigning champion, Dean Canto, a young star who's gone on to drive for Glenn Seaton's Ford Tickford Racing at the Queensland 500 and the Bathurst 1000. We've got a bumper 2.5-hour show for you this afternoon, which includes Formula Ford and Formula Holden from here at Mallala Raceway. And then we also go Porsche Cup Racing at Oran Park Raceway. But before these drivers strap into their V8 Supercars, let's first go to Greg Russ with a look at the Mallala layout.
Thanks, Grant. 2.6 Ks in length. The circuit we don't go to anymore on the Shell Championship Series, but characterised by that massive back straight with the kink, a flying kink at turn 4.
Well, the man who's on pole is the man who's coming second in the championship to Paul Dumbrell and 9/100ths of a second ahead of him in qualifying. Simon Wills, great qualifying performance to get your 3rd pole, and it's your hometown track. Surely that's some advantage.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an advantage there, but unfortunately we had set up the car for a green track with no other cars running around, so we thought we got the car right, but as the weekend's gone on, it's sort of the car's got a bit worse, so it's just one of those things, but I think it's going to be a great championship fight. It's looking close between me and Paul. Truckie's a bit further back, so yeah, it just comes down to me and him. We'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, it's pretty tight at the top of the table heading into the final round, and several drivers in with a chance of winning the crown. Paul Dumbrell on top, Simon Wills. That's pretty close there between Truckie Parsons and Owen Kelly.
Leanne, what sort of goals have you set for today?
I think really I just have to go out there and try to win the round. I don't think I have a possibility of winning the whole series, but I think if I go out and win the round, there's not much else I can do, and then I'll just see what happens after that as to where I'll finish. And I think my best possible finish could be in 3rd position overall.
Well, we're sitting 4th in the championship, and you know, we've just got to gather as many points as we can this weekend. And the first race we're starting 5th, and we've just got to see how it pans out for the first few laps, whether we try and get to the front or we hang around for the reverse grid, you know.
Well, I'm currently 3rd in the championship at the minute, and I had an ordinary day yesterday in qualifying. I've got to work fairly hard today to sort of be a main contender, but like I really need to get a couple of wins under my belt today.
We're leading by 14 points, which is quite a slim margin, but I've just got to beat him in one race and then follow tail gun right behind the other 2, and we'll wrap the championship by 2 points.
Ross Halliday carrying one of our many trackside onboard cameras this weekend as we get set for the first of 3 races here at Mallala. A great time by Simon Wills. He regularly tests here, his 3rd pole of the season, alongside his main sparring partner Paul Dumbrell, Michael Simpson and Dale Breed. An excellent effort, Mark Osler, to get on the 2nd row.
Absolutely. Craig Harris and Alan Heath, 2 Fords, round out the top 10. Eddie Abel-Nisa and Daniel Miller will start behind them. Big field here, 18 cars in all for the final of the Konica Series.
Great angle this one with Craig Harris in the Castrol Ford. You'll be able to see exactly what's going on.
Only 18 points the difference between Paul Dumbrell and Simon Wills. This has been a thriller, this Konica Series. The level of quality in the field has really taken a major jump up over the inaugural series in 2000, and we've got a real battle on our hands.
Getting set for a start here in the grand final of the Konica V8 Supercar Series. Who will win the title? We'll know in 3 races' time. A good start by Simon Wills. Really launches off the line in the team dynamic entry. Dumbrell settles into 2nd. Dale Breed is up to 4th. In 3rd, the Queenslander, Michael Simpson, as we welcome Craig Lowndes to the commentary box. Craig, everyone away cleanly.
Very good. It's probably one of those tracks that's very difficult. You go off the start line, you kink right, then left, so very difficult to get out there. These guys have done a great job.
Simon Wills, of course, will be driving with the Cat Racing team later this season, and as a result, he's got some sponsorship from Briggs Motorsport owner John Briggs this weekend, and of course Les Laidlaw and Rod Lee, who work for the Cat Ford team, they're helping out Simon as well, so there's some real effort behind the scenes to make sure he gets across the line first.
Simon Wills, keep in mind, if he can do it today, he'll be clinching his 3rd Australian title in a row. He's never won a V8 Supercar title of any kind, but in 2000 and 1999 he was the Australian Gold Star champion in Formula Holden. Has had lots of experience in V8 Supercars in recent time at Bathurst last year with Craig Baird in the Pertec Ford, and this season in a Holden. in the Konica V8 Supercar Series.
Great shot there as this big pack thunder out Mallala for the first time. Simon Wills taking advantage of that pole position. That was his third pole for the season. He's won more heats than anyone else. So he really is a man on fire here in South Australia.
They were separated by just 900ths of a second in qualifying, Dumbrell and Wills, and the two of them going at it on the circuit at the moment. We jump aboard the Wins Commodore.
Accelerating up the back straight, reaching speeds well in excess of 200 kilometres an hour as they sweep through this very fast right-hander. There's no doubt about it, Craig Lowndes, the Adelaide Street Circuit, it has replaced this round, and it's a brilliant race, but do you miss not coming here? Because I reckon this is a fabulous little track.
Well, I do. This corner in particular...
Something's happened here, Craig. Something's been a moment here for Simon Wills. I don't know what happened under brakes, but Dumbrell's made a big gain there. And all of a sudden, he pulls away again.
Yeah, I think Dumbrell actually missed a gear right towards the end of that sweep. But what I was going to say is that corner that Simon Wills had some problems is only 2 corners in Australia you actually go back to first gear, and that is one of them. So very difficult corner, very hard on the rear tyres to try and drive off that and really get a good rhythm around this track. It's great.
One of the great attributes of this circuit. Simon Wills leads the way from Paul Dumbrell. Dumbrell admitted yesterday in the post-qualifying press conference that he was a bit unhappy with the car. He had 2 offs during the course of qualifying and felt that he wasn't quite in the zone. Could we be maybe seeing a change in form today, Mark?
Could be. On board with Craig Harris in the Castrol Ford. It's an indication of how the level of competition in the Konica Series has taken a big step up this year. Craig was 1.4 seconds faster here in the new AU Ford than he was in the EL last year. But he started 1 position back relative to last year, so it just shows how fast everyone's going.
Leanne Ferrier. Owen Kelly is up there as well. There's another of the Gibson Motorsport entries in the hands of David Truckee Parsons. Now he is well down the order and one of the guys that is in contention for the title, but he's another driver who admits he has not gotten a grip on his car at this circuit. He has not got the setup he wants at the moment.
No, he's been struggling all weekend. One guy who hasn't been struggling though is Michael Simpson. Brilliant effort in the EL Falcon in qualifying. He was only about 0.3 of a second slower than David Bernard was here last year in the same car, so that's a good effort by the Queenslander.
Craig Harris on the stage here. That's Wallace having a big moment as they came onto the start-finish straight. Loads of oversteer, Craig.
Yeah, very hard, just running wide there through that kink. Very difficult little track, as you can see at the back. A lot of lefts and rights, very tight track and very hard on the tyres. So trying to get a car set up around here takes a little bit of finesse, but also needs a little bit of skill by the guys. And as you can see here, Simon Wills and PD, Paul Dumbrell, have just stretched their legs over the rest of the field. And Simon knows this is his test track, so he'll be out to try and break Paul's, I guess, back and try and get a gap on him early in this race.
18 points between these two in the Konica Series battle, so critical race results here. Simon Wills has the psychological edge, if not the performance edge as well, by taking pole position in qualifying. Now he just looks like he's stretching a bit of a gap over Paul Dumbrell. Dumbrell just 18 years of age, in his first full season of V8 Supercar racing. He's really come on in leaps and bounds.
Craig, Simon Wills has been one of the most vocal against the reverse grid race in the Konica V8 Supercar Series. If he finishes where he is right now, he will be off. Oh, we've had a moment there. Alan Heath in the Cooper's Ford. He was hoping to do well on home turf. The point I was going to make was that if he finishes where he is right now, Simon Wills will start from position 10 in the next race. That could mean he's got a lot of hard work to do.
Definitely. It's I guess it's not rewarding for a driver to go out there and do the best on this first race. You just go back in the pack. And you have a replay here. It's the end of the back straight.
Now, Heath is locked up under brakes there. On the outside is Kevin Mundy in the Actron Ford, but it didn't look like there was any contact.
No contact. Just try to sneak up the inside. So, very much...
Dale Bree.
Yeah, good move by Dale Bree. The Canberra driver sneaks up the inside of Michael Simpson. So, Bree, really capitalising on that good qualifying performance which saw him on the second row and now moves up another place.
Outstanding performance from Dale Breed in his first season of V8 Supercar competition, as so many of the rookies in the Konica Series have shown this year. Owen Kelly, another outstanding performer in the older VS model car. Hasn't got the setup on the car that he wanted this weekend. He's a little bit disappointed with it. Thought he'd get a little bit more speed out of it.
Got some support from Bianchi model cars this weekend, Owen Kelly. And like Michael Simpson just up the road ahead of him, they're two guys that are battling on minimal budgets and in older cars by comparison to the likes of Dale Breed and our race leader Simon Wills.
Here it comes. Owen Kelly, the old VS Commodore. top placed man in the older Holden. In fact, he's 4th in the Konica Championship Series points. And he was not happy with the setup throughout qualifying. He did the minimum number of hot laps to try and save his tyres for the race. He's just sitting in there behind Michael Simpson and not able to make an impression on the leaders, certainly. So Dumbrell looks like he might be a little bit closer, Craig.
Definitely, as this race goes on, it'll be interesting to see how both these cars fare with their tyres. As I said, Simon Wills tests here, so he should have a good understanding of what this car's going to do over the race run. Paul Dumbrell, though, is just sort of shadowing him. He's not been able to sort of catch him, but hasn't also allowed Simon to break away. So it'll be very interesting later in this race.
Simon Wills won the opening round of the championship. Has had a bit of bad luck in the middle part of the season. Could this be where it turns around for him once again? This is home turf in some ways. He's a Kiwi, but the Barana team test here. Look at this down the inside. Owen Kelly, he makes a move. So I wonder if Michael Simpson is maybe struggling a little bit at the moment.
He could be. He sort of started the race off very strong and I guess ran a very similar pace to the front guys, but now he's sort of struggling a little bit. The other guys, as you've seen, Owen Kelly just been able to slip down the inside of him and maybe struggling a little bit with tyre grip.
On board with Ross Halliday in the 3M Ford. Had a very educational test day with John Bow at Mallala recently. He learned a lot from the veteran in terms of driving technique and setup for the car. He bettered last year's qualifying time by almost 2 seconds, so he really has found some more speed.
Big lock up from Tim Rouse, and Daniel Miller, I think, reacted to that.
He also gave Jamie Whincup the Formula Ford star a V8 test at Mallala recently. And Ross says that he's showing plenty of promise, so we could see Jamie Whincup in a V8 Supercar. Look at the problems up ahead of him, though.
Contact Miller went left and right trying to get inside Tim Rouse.
Oh, how lucky was Tim Rouse? Miller, completely out of control, went across the apex of the corner and came so close to T-boning him. Oh, what a breathtaking moment for Tim Rouse, Craig.
Not a good place to be there. These guys did a great job. A bit of contact there.
Ross giving Tim Rouse the hurry up. I think Tim's heart rate's probably up around 300 beats a minute at the moment. Very, very close shave there.
They swing on to the front straight here at Mallala. Over the start-finish lines. It's been a good battle. Kevin Mundy in the background there in the Actron Air 4. Let's have another look at this.
And watch where he ends up.
Scooting down the infield. They're very lucky to, right at this point here, they just come very lucky to avoid everyone. It's just not sure here's a better view. Just locked him up on the brakes here. The rear sort of spun around on him. Gone onto the infield. And as you can see, everyone else is just trying to avoid. That is great.
We often talk in commentary about how when a V8 supercar gets on the grass in situations like that, they really do accelerate or take off, and that seemed to be what's happening. It's close up front. Simon Wills and Paul Dumbrell battling it out. Dale Breed in third, Owen Kelly fourth, and Michael Simpson rounds out the top five.
You're watching Trackside. More after this.
We're back at Mallala. This is Trackside on your home of motorsport. The first of 3 races in the final round. Round 6 of the Konica V8 Supercar Series. Paul Dumbrell finds something special in the Wins Commodore, and he's now involved in a drag race, or was, for the lead with Simon Wills. Simon is, I guess, the main contender with Paul at the pointy end of the championship. There are a lot of other players for it, but these guys want the title, no two ways about it. And Wills is thinking even further down the track. He wants a full-time Shell Championship Series drive in 2002.
Have a look at this incident a little bit further back in the pack. Tim Rouse, Ross Halliday and Kevin Mundy all locked up, Craig Lowndes.
Yeah, trying to run around the outside, just probably got on the marbles and just really couldn't pull that car up anywhere near in time to get around the corner.
He's been battling some heavy understeer all weekend, Kevin Mundy, and it looks like things aren't improving. Ross Halliday under pressure from Gary Holt, and Holt finds a way down the inside but runs wide. So a little ambitious there, I think, Craig.
Very much overcommitted himself into the corner. Couldn't pull up this 1,350 kilo car in time to get around the corner.
Qualified a second faster than his time here in 2000. So everyone's going much quicker. They really have taken a major step up in 2001. Just shows the level of competition in the Konica Series is going from strength to strength. Gary Holt's car this weekend being tended by the boys from Race Tech Australia. His regular engineer, Nigel Bowling, is away working on the Australian Safari. And the car obviously performing pretty well. Oh, problems here for Leanne Ferrier. Car 33, she was locked in a really big battle with David Parsons, but that's cost her a lot of track position.
And given her position in the championship, although mathematically she is in contention for the title, she needs a lot of cards to fall her way today. She can't afford a moment of that sort.
You can see the damage to the front of the Valvoline Cummins car there. Not sure if that was as a result of contact with David Parsons. Meanwhile, back at the front, you can see Dumbrell was closing on Simon Wills, Craig, but Simon just seems to have enough in reserve to keep that buffer there.
He does. They really haven't broken away either. It's sort of they've been running in tandem. But soon as Paul Dumbrell gets anywhere near Simon's rear, bumper bar, Simon really drives defensively, and he really wants his championship. And these two guys are going to have to fight it out if one of them wants to win it.
Here's Owen Kelly, the young Tasmanian, in the car that is being run out of the John Faulkner Racing Workshop. Recently announced that he'll be teaming up with Paul Romano for the Enduros in the Holden Young Lions entry. Up front, good battle continuing between Paul Dumbrell and Simon Wills. Wills seems to have found a little something extra and pulled a car length or two clear, Mark.
Just while you were talking about the Enduros, Rusty, it's fantastic. The Konica series has been set up primarily as a driver development category and a feeder series where the guys in the Shell Championship Series can find some quality drivers. Craig, it seems to be working that way. A lot of the guys from the Konica Series being picked up for the Enduros.
Well, definitely. This is where it all starts from, and really this Konica Series is great. Gives them a great understanding of what the car's all about and gives them opportunity to drive them.
Contact too.
You can see Alan Heath on the attack. Contact between the 3M Ford and the Cooper's machine. Down at the hairpin, and Ross Halliday comes off worse out of that one.
There may have been some damage to the front of the Cooper's Ford as well. I can't imagine that he's been able to get out of that one scot-free. Michael Simpson now starting to feel the pressure. He's dropped back into the clutches of David Truckee Parsons. Look at the damage to the back of Parsons' car as well, so he's been in the wars.
So that was from Leanne Ferrier's car. You can see the damage on the front of the Valvoline machine. Parsons pushes up the inside of Simpson. So Simpson dropping back. Parsons continuing this surge toward the front.
Should keep in mind there's a championship at stake here for David Parsons as well. Third in the series.
Only 12 points behind Simon Wills coming into this one. So well in championship contention. Let's have a look at this incident again with Heath.
He's just trying to get up the inside. This is that corner I was mentioned before. First gear corner, very slow. Alan's lost his front aerodam, so he's probably going to have a lot of understeer now.
Sure will. See that going too close under brakes, knocked the front spoiler off, so he's going to struggle from here. Dale Breed continuing. Good performance this from NRC in their first season of V8 Supercar racing.
Announced recently that he'll be hooking up for one of the Enduros at least with Craig Harris in the Castrol Ford. Michael Simpson will share the duties in one of the later races. Here's young Owen Kelly continuing to do a good job in this older Commodore, but it's got a pretty impressive heritage, Mark.
Sure is. This is the car that Peter Brock dubbed Beth back in the Holden Racing Team days. You might have had a steer of this at one stage, Craig.
Yeah, I probably would have, actually. It's a car that's been around for a while, and I was just thinking that's probably the hardest bit for poor old Owen Kelly there. Out by himself, no cars around him, and trying to keep concentration is probably the hardest thing for a driver to do.
Simon Wills seems to have found a little something in reserve because he's pulled a decent-sized gap now on Owen Kelly as we head towards the finish of this first race. What a great start to the final round of the championship for the Barana Racing Team, and of course for Simon Wills, valuable championship points in the Konica V8 Supercar Series. Wills takes out the opening race of the day. Dumbrell will finish in second, and a really solid drive for Dale Breed in third.
Yeah, that was a good performance from Breed, the 25-year-old from the ACT. In his first season, the team hasn't tested since Lakeside, so that was a good performance on foreign soil.
Owen Kelly, who's also in championship contention, puts some good points in the bag by finishing in fourth. There's David Parsons just ahead of Michael Simpson coming across the finish line. Oh, what a great effort by Simon Wills.
Well, Simpson will probably be a little bit disappointed with his performance because that car was very fast in qualifying, but can't take any points away from Simon Wills. There's the damaged front spoiler from Alan Heath's car. You can see it's snapped off, and he struggled for the rest of the race. Simon Wills, though, 2.3 seconds up the road from Paul Dumbrell in the end. Dale Breed was third, Kelly was fourth, Truckee Parsons, Michael Simpson, Craig Harris and Adam Wallace.
Somehow I think that's only the beginning of the battle, Scars. It's going to be a big day here at Mallala. Leanne Ferrier finished 9th, Eddie Abelnese 10th. Back on the other side of this. This is Trackside, a great day so far for Simon Wills and the Barana Racing Team. They've taken out the opening race Will he win the title? Les Laidlaw certainly hopes so, because Simon will hook up with the Cat Racing team for the upcoming Enduros. Look at that, Leanne Ferrier and Eddie Abel-Nisa will start on the front row of the grid for the reverse grid race coming up shortly.
Well done, but gee, he's still quick. He pressured you for the majority of that race.
Yeah, he pushed me pretty good. I was trying to conserve my tyres, but try to defend it when I needed to, and I think it controlled the race pretty well, but his car's got a lot of speed, and it just seemed to drop off at the end for him, so maybe it bodes well for me later on in the day.